And here we go. Good evening, everyone. My name's Tom Vance, and I am the director of the Master of Arts in Teaching program. And it's fantastic that on very late notice, we have 20 participants here to learn how to register for classes. And I'm joined tonight by my very capable colleague, Ashley Knoll, who is really a key member of the MAT team. You know, Ashley, I guess your official title is retention coordinator, if that, if that's right. And it looks like I'm frozen on the screen there in an awkward position. I hope I'm not frozen. I hope my voice isn't frozen. Anyway, we want to be able to answer any questions that you might have. Can you hear me okay, Ashley?
I can, yep, and you're not frozen at all.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay, must just be on my end then.
Dr. Vance, you are frozen on
Now you're frozen.
You're frozen.
So I'll go ahead and take over for right now. And if he jumps back in, then I'll turn it over to him again. But my name is Ashley Knoll. I am the KState Online Graduate Student Retention Coordinator. I thank you all for joining us on short notice. My goal for tonight is to quickly show you just an overview of what we kind of anticipate, what you'll be seeing, how to enroll, kind of how to troubleshoot questions, and then also know that I am here to guide you and assist you. My email, I'm going to plug it in, I think, in the chat. I've got a little 5-year-old that might join us. I'm on a video right now. I need you to go back to bed, please. Okay. Okay, and so I just plugged my email in, and that's ashley04@ksu.edu. If you have any questions at all during your program, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I can provide you with answers to your questions. And if for some reason I cannot, I'll make sure to get you in touch with the right person. So first, I'm going to start off with if you have not received a welcome email from me that will include your course information, please expect that here tomorrow. I was out on spring break and last week, and so I'm getting caught back up, and you'll be getting that in the morning. And then if I'm going to share with you my computer screen so that you can always refer back to the KState MAT. You've got an elementary track and then a secondary track, and each one of these web pages show the curriculum. Okay, I'm going to share my screen right now.
By the way, I'm back. I don't know what happened. What a terrible way to introduce myself to all of the MAT students. That rarely ever happens. I don't know what happened. Anyway, you're in capable hands. I was just introducing Ashley. So she's got you now.
Thank you, Tom. So here we have our KState Online webpage. That's online.k-state.edu. And you can simply go to search for programs. From here, you can type in teaching. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see elementary education, as well as the secondary education track. I'll show you on both, but starting with the elementary education, if you scroll down, you can find the curriculum of all your classes and what to expect for this next year coming forward. To let everybody know, May intercession is considered a summer class because it starts in May and ends in June. Therefore, when you enroll in May intercession, it's technically considered a summer session course in KSUS. Same thing for January intercession. Because it starts in December and ends in January usually, It will be considered a spring semester course when you go to enroll. So January and spring courses will not be available for enrollment until October. One other piece of information that I'd like to share with you right now is the EDCI 710. That is considered the course number. What's important to know is when you're enrolling within KState, you'll use, in my opinion, the easiest way is to use the 5-digit class number. By going there, I'm going to add a couple people here to the group. You can go also back to our home page, KState Online, go to course search and type in that class number, EDCI 710, or I'm sorry, the course number. You'll see two results populate. The reason why you're seeing two is there are two course sections, one for the elementary education track, and then a second section for the secondary education track. You can figure out which track that is simply by looking at the bullet here, and it specifies elementary education students. You can also see on this results page the class number. And this is that 5-digit class number that you'll need to know for KState enrollment. Just maybe ask for questions, but let me do one other thing real quick. Chat. I want to show you a quick tip. If you go to any KState page, you'll see this purple banner, and up on that purple banner, you'll see a sign-in link. And from here, you'll see access to your various portals as a student. The connect link is just a dashboard of your student information. The campus page is where you'll enter to access courses. And then KState is where you'll go to enroll and or pay your tuition bill. And then webmail is where you'll access your KState communications. And remember, all KState communications will go to your KState webmail. Next, we would enter KState. I'm going to switch my view to student view. What's important to note here is on the tasks button, I've got one hold. So that's telling me that I need to complete that task prior to enrollment. To enroll, you would go to Student Center. Let's see, you would select enroll. You would pick summer. You can also enroll in fall classes at this time as well. That's your personal choice. I always recommend students enroll in summer and fall so they do not forget to enroll in their fall classes and then end up getting a late enrollment fee. A $65 late enrollment fee is charged if you're not enrolled in classes prior to the start date. And then you'll just have to enroll first summer and then fall. Also, summer courses will be charged, I think, within a month of your enrollment. However, fall classes will be charged in July and payment won't be due until, I believe it's the first day of class by 3 p.m. So in August, and that's for standard classes. So I'm going to continue. Prior to entering KState, we looked up that course number and then that 5-digit course code. And I am thinking it is, got it right here. That class number was 11035. And that's that EDCI 710. All you do is press enter. You do a quick double check of EDCI 710, Social Foundations. This code, MMATEL, that EL stands for elementary. SE is for secondary. All you would do is simply click next. And there I've added the class. Once I've added all my class numbers, so then I would, the next two would be 11051. You just continue through the process. Last one for elementary classes this summer is 11115. Next, you just proceed to step 2 of 3, and then you finish enrollment. If for whatever reason you want to wait and hold, you can cancel. And that will discard your changes. If for any reason this was too fast, or you're getting hung up anywhere, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. One other tip is if you go back to that KState homepage, that ksu.edu, and in the search bar, you'll click knowledge:enroll, select enter. It'll take you to a nice step-by-step enrollment within KSIS tutorial. Once you've enrolled in classes, I always suggest students look to see if they have any required materials for the class. And I suggest doing that by going to knowledge and then KSIS textbooks. And within KSIS, by following these steps, you can see which classes require textbooks easily, and that link will actually take you to the KState campus bookstore, and you can order directly there or look at the ISBN number and order from whatever retail or online store that will give you the best price.
This is the.
Sorry about that, folks. That's what I have for you all. I also am adding you to a Canvas course, and I don't know where it went right now, that you should have access to. This is the KState Online Graduate Student Retention Onboarding course. And this course is just to provide you with weekly announcements with different things that are upcoming opportunities, deadlines that you need to know, as well as other resources that are helpful during your graduate program.
Right. Can you go back one step? That's Canvas, right? So
That's correct.
can you go back one?
Yeah, let me just take you back here. So
Right.
we've got our KState homepage.
Right. Canvas. There we go. And it has all the course cards.
All the course cards. Mhm.
And so which one did you go to? Graduate Student Success Guide, online grad student. Right. Okay. So it'd probably benefit us all to just kind of like go in there and root around and get familiar with those various course cards a little bit, maybe.
Exactly. And you may not see content within these course cards until the first day of class.
Okay. All right. Right. But yeah.
The onboarding course here that I took you into is exactly that. It allows you to root around, get familiar with the Canvas course
Mhm.
platform. You cannot make any mistakes at all in that class. Great question, Jeff. Thank you.
Right. My pleasure.
Does anybody else have any questions for me?
Can I just add a couple quick things, Ashley? Sometimes people, we have different sections of 702 and 716, right? For elementary and secondary. Sometimes it's happened before, could happen again. This group, it probably won't happen to, but sometimes people enroll in the wrong one, and you don't want to do that. You want to enroll in the right section of 702 and the right section of 716. I sent you an email with the exact numbers to put in, just like Ashley just did for you. So it should be easy peasy, and everything should go smoothly. And if it doesn't, I give my phone number out to everybody. Ashley's an email away, and we will get you handled. So don't fret about it. By the way, you never have to worry about classes being full. Remember that game as an undergraduate that you used to have to play, to get the best professor, or, whatever. You had to, get in line early, and seniors had priorities over juniors and juniors over. We still do that, by the way, at KState for our face-to-face folks, but we don't play that in the MAT. We have complete control over how many students are in a class. And if we exceed that number, I just call Ashley and tell her to oop the number a little bit further. So you have no problem. But I would suggest enrolling sooner rather than later, just in case if there is any problem. And Jeff, you asked a good question too about other course cards and so forth. This won't be the last bite at the apple you get at somebody from the MAT program before you begin classes. We'll do an orientation and I'll introduce the faculty, and the dean will come on and do her introduction, and she'll tell you how wonderful K-State is, and and she means it too, by the way, and how you're a part of the Wildcat tradition now, and all of that sort of stuff. And so you'll have several opportunities to interact with us. And it's an online program. Expect glitches. I mean, we had one tonight, right? I don't think I've ever just dropped out of a meeting like that before. I have no idea. My whole computer turned off and I have no idea why. And so, it happens, and it'll happen to you, and it's okay. I can remember I went to this conference of 20 somethings a while ago, and that's not and some of you are 20 somethings, and I'm not saying anything bad about 20 somethings at all. I'm just not a 20 something, as you can tell. I'm 56 years old, but I went to this conference, and it was a technology conference, and something went wrong with technology in front of all of these younger colleagues of mine, and I was kind of freaking out. And they said, Tom, it's okay. I mean, stuff happens. Even when we use chalk and a chalkboard, occasionally the chalk broke. Or when we used to use film strips, the film strip, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Things happen. You just move on. And I think it was a good lesson for, at least for an older person like me. So anyway, any other questions? We have a couple in chat here, Ashley. And
Yeah, those are great
go ahead.
questions.
Okay.
I was going to say, Brianna asked a great question regarding requisites. For our secondary folks, there is a requisite that the graduate school limits the number of hours for enrollment during the summer session. Our graduate school works on giving permissions to allow over that enrollment limit every day. If whoever was admitted up until today at 5 o'clock, everyone should have had permissions provided to their student account. So you shouldn't have any issues with enrollment there. However, I noticed Brianna had an issue with her ag class being added. I'm going to have to look at that further at her specific student account. So again, if you have any enrollment issues with any part of your time at MAT with K-State, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll look at it on a case-by-case basis.
Did you put your email in the chat?
I will. I'll do it one more time again.
Yeah, she did.
Okay. I didn't, I was reading some old chat, so.
And then let's see, according to your email, the dates were different when I was looking at the dates per class number that was given for 702. Okay, Brianna, I apologize about that. We've had a few course date adjustments that have occurred prior to enrollment beginning as of today. So if you've received an email from me in January or February, those dates may have changed a bit. The first class, I believe, will start in May. Let me see on EDCI 710.
Yeah, I think it starts May 16th.
May 16th. And then the June classes will start, I believe, on June 6th. Sorry, I'm looking at a calendar real quick. June 6th. And then, Tom, do you remember when 702 was starting?
It's usually the first Monday. Well, 702 starts for elementary students.
July 5th, I have.
Yeah.
July 5th for elementary, but June 6th for secondary.
Right.
Again, if you have any questions regarding the course dates, you can always go to that course search, and it has all the current information right there on that webpage for each section. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on.
Oh, financial aid. Great question. Who was that?
Shay.
Shay. Wow. Go ahead and give yourself 10,000 bonus points. You should fill out, by the way, students will do almost anything for bonus points, right? So yeah, you need to fill out, if you're going to fill out financial aid, and most people do, fill out the, let's see, it would be, make sure I'm getting this right, Ashley. You fill out the 21-22 FAFSA form for summer, and then you fill out the 22-23 FAFSA form for next year. So do them both. You can do them both right now. And, you know, it's a little bit of a headache. It's going to take you a couple hours to do. I've gotten very good at it with my 4 kids in school recently. So, but you can do it.
Students will also have to fill out a separate summer financial aid form as well in order to ping the financial aid office indicating that you're in need or interested in financial aid assistance. I put a web link in the chat, but if anybody has any other questions, please email me as well.
So I have just a few questions. So my application is not complete. The only thing I was having a lot of trouble. That video, the introductory video, it took me like a week, and I just got it in today because I actually recorded it on my phone, uploaded it to my MacBook, and then put it on YouTube and put that link in the application. So that's done. But the only thing I'm missing is the praxis test. And so what are the dates? How much? I mean, I think it's the end of this month or the 1st of April or something like that.
Well, the dates on the praxis are different depending upon location, subject area, all that stuff, Jeff. So
Right.
if you go to the praxis, which one do you need to take? What subject area?
For English.
English language arts. You just go to ETS and you type in English language arts praxis, and then it'll ask you what area, if you want to do it in I don't know if you're in Kansas or not, Jeff,
Right.
but
Yeah.
wherever you're at, and then you narrow it down to the city, and then there's all kind, like, I don't know, a lot of people are in the Kansas City area, for example,
Mhm.
and there's usually lots of dates for English language arts, for social studies, especially in bigger places, right, like that.
Right. Right.
And but fewer dates for things like ag ed or modern languages or things like that. So and so the dates are various, but you
Right.
still
So
have plenty of time.
So I need to schedule that as soon as possible, but what's my drop dead date on, because I can't put in my application. When's the drop dead date on getting the application submitted?
Well, you can apply. We don't like to tell people, Jeff. You're forcing the issue on me right now,
Right.
and but we'd like to get people to have their praxis in. But the truth is that you can be admitted and take up to 9 hours without having your praxis score. For those
I don't
of
want to
you
put it
who,
off. I'd rather knock it out and get it done. The thing
I,
is,
I was going to say, it's for all those people that have already done their praxis. It's a good thing that you've already done it.
Right.
But yeah, I would knock it out. And Jeff, the single best study source by far is buy those practice tests from ETS. All right, you may not need to bone up at all on the test. You by all appearances, you're a very bright person, but just in case, those are the single best study guides for the tests. They're you'll know exactly or pretty close what you're going to get. They're actual old tests.
all right.
And so, and if there's one thing about standardized tests,
Mhm.
they're standardized.
Right.
And so they're consistent. And so you'll be able to know pretty close what you're going to score and what you need to work on
Right.
and all that stuff.
Well, so that's the last thing I need to do for my application. My only challenge is I'm teaching high school English as a long-term sub, and I've got a full load. So actually, scheduling might be a challenge. We don't
I
have a
think
lot
they
of.
offer it on the weekends and stuff too.
Okay, good. Good.
Anybody on here that's taken the English language arts praxis that can give Jeff a heads up on anything?
I've been to the practice center for finance and insurance and lots of other stuff to do, because they do that. They do lots of different industries, but yeah, they probably do. I'll look into it. I'll just schedule it I'm sure they do it on the weekend. I'll have to find the date to knock it out as soon as possible.
Okay.
Tom, Shay indicated that she took hers on Saturday.
Good.
Okay.
Hey, also on webmail. So Ashley, webmail. So to get all communicated, so you're not going to send any emails to, to my, I have several, I am down to 3 emails that I use. But anyway, so I have to go out to webmail and find it at the KSU site.
Official K-State communications will go to your K-State email.
All right.
I try to be as customer service friendly, and so I will likely respond. But again, I'm strongly encouraged by my administrators to email everything through K-State.
So, all right. So we'll all get a KSU email.
Yes, and that email is actually your EID that you use as a login to cases and Canvas. For instance, my EID is Ashley04. And so that's what I use as my login, as well as my email, which is ashley04@ksu.edu.
And Jeff, you should know too, you can, and everybody else on the call as well, you can adjust your K-State email. So your other emails, go into K-State or vice versa. You can use your Yahoo mail.
Right.
My kids make fun of me that I use Yahoo as a search engine and as an email thing, but or Google or whatever, and you can make all of your K-State emails.
Right. Well, it's probably in any email application platform, whatever you want to call it, you can set up a new mailbox. That's probably what I'll do, and I don't.
You can forward your K-State
Right.
email to your personal email if you so choose.
Right.
It's always good. We've had issues where sometimes K-State email that's been forwarded to personal email will be sent to junk email. So just something to watch for.
Right.
What else do we have for questions in the chat here?
Hello.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, I have a question about the praxis. So I passed my, I'm trying to enroll to the secondary math program, and I passed my praxis, the content knowledge, in February, and I put K-State to receive it. But on the application, I didn't see the link or, attach the file anywhere there. So I assume K-State is going to get it, right? And I just submit my application and I'm good to go, right?
Submit your application, and if there's any problem at all, Kirill, we'll alert you, and tell you that it's missing, but it should be fine. It's like a 4-digit code, right? I can't remember I think it's 6234 or something like that.
Yeah, they ask you whenever you apply for that to the institution.
And we automatically get it that way, and they know through the miracles of technology, they get it. So
yeah, that's the only question I had. Other than that, I just waiting for my transcript, and so I should be able to submit.
Yeah, and you can do it. By the way, you can do an unofficial transcript to get admitted. I mean, we'll eventually need an official one, but an unofficial one will work.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You bet.
We had another question regarding praxis for the elementary track.
Yeah, for elementary students do not need to take their praxis for admission. You will eventually, elementary students, unlike your secondary counterparts, you don't take a praxis test on just one content area. No, elementary, you take a praxis content test on 4 content areas. And so in elementary, the big four are, and by the way, I'll just go ahead and break the news to you. By far and away, the biggest and most important one is English language arts. And, I'm a social studies person. And so you'd think that I would say social studies, but no, not really. What do schools and principals and so forth really stress? Reading and writing and literacy and so forth. So, and it's sort of a building block on all of the other academic subject areas. So, English language arts, social studies, mathematics, and science are the big four in elementary schools. And so they don't expect you to be, content wizards at all four of those. So don't freak out. And our pass rate's super high. We have like a 97.5% pass rate, but you don't take those until generally speaking. I mean, you can take them whenever you want. It's a free country, but generally people don't take them until the second semester of next year after you've had some coursework and so forth.
Tom,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Is there
go
a
ahead,
practice test? Is there a place where we can access the practice test for elementary now?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'll find it and put it in the chat. Or Ashley, do you know how to get to the element? It's fifth, I think, is it? I'm confusing social studies and elementary, but it's the elementary, I think, is it 7811? Look up 7811 on ETS, Ashley. I think that's the content knowledge test for elementary. And it contains all four of those. You can take them, by the way, Rebecca, you can take them one subject at a time, or you can take them all at once. Get this, it's a 5-hour test if you take them all at once. It's crazy. Yeah, I know. And even, not even crazier, I guess there's a method to this madness, but as an elementary teacher, Rebecca, you can test into any secondary subject without taking any other courses and be certified English language arts teacher if you can pass the praxis or whatever. But Jeff, and I'm just picking on you because I know you're secondary, you can't test into elementary. They don't let you go down. You can go up, but you can't go down into elementary. I think the reasoning behind that is that there's so many intricacies of like teaching reading and basic literacy and numeracy and all that stuff that they just don't trust you to be able to test into it.
That's interesting because I've been at Blue Valley High School in Overland Park now this is my third semester, basically being a long-term sub, and I'm kind of like a member of the department, and I know all the English teachers really, really well, and at least over half of them started at elementary or middle school and moved up, and I didn't ever wonder, none of them have gone back. I don't know of anybody that's gone back, of course.
Yeah. Well, once you have your elementary certificate, you could go back.
Really?
Yeah, but you just can't start with a secondary certificate and move down to elementary. Weird fun fact. So
It actually is helpful because I was sitting here going, oh, do I really want to do elementary or do I want to do secondary? But it's
there's
nice
some
to that option is there. Yeah.
Well, there's also advantages, especially if you live in Kansas, and by the way, only about half of our students do live in Kansas in the MAT. You'll be in a cohort of 200 students eventually, and about half will be Kansans, and the other half will be from all over the country and some other parts of the world. We usually have 4, 5, 6, 7 foreign countries, and we have people from inner city and from rural areas, and just all over the place. So it makes for a great, and you'll be surprised. We'll have all kinds of professionals. There'll be 200 people that we've had lawyers and architects, and this year we had a PhD in physics that had a successful university career, but decided she wanted to spend the last 5 years of her working life with elementary kids. teaching elementary kids. And so she had, been a successful physics professor, and now she's going to be an elementary school teacher. And I imagine a fairly decent one, by the way, especially science. And so anyway, yeah. Any other questions?
We have a few more in the chat. I have a question that says, if they don't pass the praxis the first time, are they able to retake to up the score?
Yeah, you are.
Retake
Absolutely. We encourage retaking. We don't encourage voting in elections more than once, but we do encourage retaking tests as many times as you're able to.
Just like
And
ACT.
yeah, I did. My kids all took the ACT multiple times, and it paid dividends, by the way. And yeah, you can't. And by the way, for those of you who maybe have children in that same time frame, don't believe people that say that you can't improve your test score. You can improve your test score a whole bunch. And in particular on some parts of the ACT. But I lost my train of thought. What question was I answering?
If a student can retake the praxis if they get a low score.
Yeah.
Can
Wait 28 days.
Can they be admitted? Here is another question that has not been asked, but maybe going through people's minds.
Yeah, you technically can. We don't like to spread that around, but you technically can be admitted without a praxis score or without a passing praxis score. I mean, it's up to the program, secondary program coordinators, but in particular, if you have some good experience and you look like we have an ethical, moral responsibility not to take money from you. Believe it or not, we are the state school, so we're not profit driven, but we have kind of an ethical, moral obligation not to take money from people that we don't think are going to eventually be successful. And to be honest with you, even the GPA thing is it a great predictor of your success as a teacher? Probably not, but we still have to have some system in place to help especially our accreditors realize that we're not just taking anyone that comes, even though we are the land grant state school and our mission is to help and serve the public. And so we try to be as accommodating as we can. But we also get the fact that not everyone knows what they want to do when they're 19 years old. And they might not have the best GPA in the world.
We had another question about the residency program for elementary students.
Well, yes, the residency program for elementary students, we should know that will be voted on by the Kansas State Board of Education the first Tuesday in May, whatever that is. And it looks good. I mean, we got the secondary passed. And so it looks very good that the secondary or the elementary will pass. And, if you're in a position where you wanted to apply for a job and, since the program's not quite in place yet, if you wanted to have the HR person, the principal, the superintendent reach out to me and talk to me about, the residency program and its likelihood of being passed by the State Board of Education, I'd be happy to do that. I've already done that for several people. So they may want to hire you. They may just want to wait until May until we have official word. They may go ahead and hire you now. I mean, we don't control what they do in the schools. If they want to do that with the understanding that that the likelihood is that this program is going to be passed, that's great. Fine by us.
I noticed a question from, I think it was Paula on the chat, asking about elementary track not needing to do the praxis was like our understanding as for the application process.
Yeah,
You have to
that's just for the application. So to be clear, both elementary and secondary have a content praxis and a principles of learning and teaching praxis, okay? And the secondary folks take the content praxis, that's a part of their application process, okay?
So we do have to take it, but not to be admitted to the program. It'd be
Correct.
later on in order to get the teaching license that we need to do the practice for elementary practice.
Right. And I'll put that link in the chat.
We had another question about ordering books from outside source that comes with an access code.
Ordering books that come with
Textbooks. Mhm.
an access code.
I didn't know if any of your classes require any kind of access code to additional materials.
Oh, I think we're down to one faculty member, at least in the elementary program. And I can't speak to the secondary, all of the secondary programs, but I think we just have one faculty member left that requires any charged textbooks. Now, almost all of us use free electronic books or electronic resources, right? You remember, most of you aren't old enough to remember, but when I was in school, they used to do these course packets. So you would go to the bookstore and you'd pick up your books, and sometimes the books weren't books at all. They were just course packets of journal articles and stuff that the professor. So we do that now and use those as our textbook. Only through the miracles of technology, we can just package them nicely together, in an electronic resource, right? And then we include, graphics and pictures and little Quizlets and other things that they didn't have access to back then. So we use most classes use resources like that are free. And you don't have to, or sometimes people will just include them in the course modules, right? There'll just be a litany of PDFs that you can click on, maybe with a little introductory blurb for each one, or you'll see. But there's not too many that I know about, too many things like that where you have to buy something.
Yeah, 716 has one that you have to buy, and it says that it's out of stock, but trying to order it online, it says it has an access code with it. So I didn't know if ordering it online would still work.
I don't know. That's Della's class, so we can check with Della.
Yeah, I'm thinking let's email the instructor tomorrow, and then I'm just thinking where we can get the information out to.
I'm just going to share my screen real quick, just to show you this. You can see I shop at Etsy once in a while. My daughter's on Etsy too. She's an artist. So if I type in elementary content, I think it's 7811. I don't know why this is taking me to all the specific states. Maybe this will be better. All right, if they want to do it by state, we'll do it by state. And for those of you who are out of state, you will take the Kansas test requirements. You'll get licensed in Kansas and then transfer your teaching license to whatever state that you live in. So here are all of the tests required for Kansas. So again, these are all the what's called the PLT tests. And secondary folks, you'll do the 7 through 12. Don't do the 5 through 9. That's middle school. You get a 7 at K-State, you get a 7 through 12 endorsement. By the way, this isn't your only bite at this apple too. I send you all this stuff and we talk about it and we have Zoom meetings about it. And you'll have plenty of opportunities to talk about that. Elementary, you do the K6 test, okay? And then if you just clicked on elementary, then it's 7811, right? 7811. That's what I said, isn't it?
Yep.
It is. So this is all 4 tests, but then they're subdivided if you wanted to take. So you go there, and first of all, you should look at the study companion, and it'll tell you what's on the test. And by the way, for you secondary folks, same thing in every secondary. And it tells you how many, questions are on each and how many minutes they are and yada, yada, yada. So you'll want to read that. But then what you'll really want to do is get these interactive practice tests. And so if you click on one of these, if you just buy one, they're $19.95. And that's how you do it. And so let's just do English language arts just for fun. We can go back. We're still in Kansas, by the way. And we'll just go down here to secondary education. And we'll go to English language arts content knowledge. Same thing here, study companion, right? There's the study plan thing, but I'm not a huge fan in having them tell me how to plan my study. By this point in your life, you should be fairly good at planning your study. And so don't waste your time on that. But then if you just go to the interactive price test preparations, buy now. And the great thing about these things are, see, they're all old tests, and you'll know basically what your score is going to be. And you know,
once
time yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, once you purchase that, can you do it multiple times, or do you have to buy it each time you want to practice taking it?
Well, I think there's different forms of it. I don't really, to be honest with you, I've never bought one, so I don't know exactly. But my daughter did. My daughter's a social studies teacher in Kansas City, and I think she bought all 3 for social studies and just pounded them all weekend, and just took those tests. And it tells you not only what the right answers are, but why they're the right answers and why the wrong answers are the wrong answers. So it's just sort of a study thing as well. So that's that.
I have a question about the residency program that you mentioned before. You said the secondary one got approved, right, already, and you wait for the elementary. So I'm online right here looking at the article where you mentioned 8 days ago in the KState newsfeed, and it says that you can basically, as I understand, you can teach while you're doing the program. Is that correct?
Correct.
So I'm a full-time substitute teacher in Abilene right now, and I know my school might be interested to have me full-time as a teacher next year without license.
No problem.
But it's Kansas.
No, but actually, with the residency program, you would have a license.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah, you would be the full-time teacher of record. Yeah, in Abilene. And if you want have your superintendent or HR person,
Principal.
give me a
Yeah.
call.
So
Yeah.
I'll ask so if I just go to my principal's office and ask, she's actually my principal, Gina DeLay. She's actually working for K-State and she's an MIT program as well. She helps out there. So
I know the name.
yeah. So I mean, I talk to her all the time about it, and she's the one who suggested for me to, get MIT.
Yeah. So the secondary, yeah, you could be the teacher of record next year.
So I just talked to her about it, see if they want to hire me as a teacher on a restricted license, and I'm basically gonna take the courses and teach as a teacher.
Yeah, I'll share my screen again. We have all that information online now.
Okay.
If you just go to MAT in the search, K-State search, and go to secondary,
Mm-hmm.
and down here, secondary residency, there's a step-by-step how you do it. And by the way, for elementary people go, I wish we had that. You're going to have it in May, and it'll be the same, basically the same process. And there's the curriculum, and we've made it so, Kirill, that you could even get into the secondary residency program in January next year if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. No, I
So-
wanna get in during the summer, because I mean, if there are opportunities, and I know, some schools, I have some ties with St. Mary's and some Manhattan High and Abilene, so I mean, there will be interest to hire me even without the teaching license. I know that. They just got to make sure the position is available.
Absolutely, yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, so that actually works out great, because I know you can do it in some other states, but Kansas is pretty restricted. So, but now it helps me out a lot. Actually, it opens a lot of doors, I think.
Yeah,
So-
that's the way it is, and it's that way for any secondary subject area, and soon for elementary as well.
That's fantastic. Oh my God. Thank you for explaining that.
Not a problem.
We had another question asked if K-State will let the students know if the praxis testing scores have been received.
I don't think we do. For whatever reason, that's a weakness. We need to call somebody about that, Ashley, that they should let students know that we've received them, but we are still a big bureaucracy after all. I mean, in the MAT, we don't treat you like we're a big bureaucracy, but unfortunately, the truth is we're the big state university, and so it is a bureaucracy, and we're not as, how do I want to say this? We're becoming better. K-State's better than most. I'll say this, that we're better than most in terms of being student-centered and that kind of thing, and friendly, and but we're still a bureaucracy. So sorry about that if we didn't let you know.
I would say if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us via email and we'll be happy to follow up.
I have one more. I don't know if anyone else is wondering about this, but I've already been accepted, and I'm trying to figure out how long I can keep working into the program and keep my benefits through my current job. I know there's some advice, like once you get into at least October-ish, you definitely wouldn't be able to keep working full-time or even part-time maybe. But on my acceptance letter, in the last paragraph, it talks about student health insurance programs available to graduate students. And there's a link there that was on that email. But when I clicked on it, it was a little confusing. So would you be able to email some more information about that? If there's any way to obtain insurance as a grad student, health insurance?
Let me attack the first part of the question, and Ashley, maybe you can attack the last part of the question. In terms of continuing to work,
Yeah.
many of our students, maybe even most of our students, continue to work until student teaching, not Octoberish, but until the first day of school in January. When the kids go back to school in January is when you have to report for student teaching. And student teaching is full-time. And it goes from the first week in January until the first week in April. Okay, and that's not quite 12 weeks, it's 13, whatever, 14, I don't know, but there's spring break in there, and just trust me, that's basically what it is. And and then you have 64 hours that you have to do out in the schools in the fall, right? And so if you can work it out with your job, I'm going to take Tuesday and Wednesday mornings off for 10 weeks or whatever. We'd like you to spread it out and not just do 64 hours in 10 days or something, you know what I mean? Because you get to watch the kids grow a little bit over the course of the semester. By the way, another benefit of the MAT, you do your 64 hours and your student teaching in the same classroom with the same teacher in the same school, so you don't have to switch, which there's a downside to not switching. I get that, but there's a tremendous upside. All the student names, your cooperating teacher, the routines of the classroom. There's a tremendous upside where you can just focus on your teaching. So that's the first half of your question. In terms of student health insurance, you got me, Rebecca. You stumped me. I have no idea. Ashley, do you have any idea about that?
My understanding, unless something has changed, and I know K-State Global Campus's spot for this, is that the health insurance is only available for our on-campus graduate students through Kansas State University.
Oh, I don't think that's true. You sure about that?
I know I've asked several years ago, and then I asked just as of recently, because this question comes up often, because students are coming to K-State Online for full-time status and therefore having to give up employment to continue through various programs, and it's a sticking
you would know more than I, but that's something we have to get changed. We need to create a strongly worded memo to the president of the university, the new president of the university. In fact, that should be his first act as the new president, is to change the health insurance. That's what Rebecca, we will make sure on that. And if there is health insurance, for some reason I thought there was. I don't know why I thought that, but
Well, the link on here, when I clicked on it, it asked you to do talks about a health wellness quiz that ranks your overall health, and then off to the side, you can click on it and you can see insurance policies that are available, but it says you have to be a full or part-time employee of the university to qualify, from what I was reading. So I assumed that, and as an online grad student, we wouldn't be considered an employee, since we're not on site working.
And graduate students have different teaching assistantships and different statuses like that. We've got GRAs, GTAs, and then GAs, and that's graduate research assistants, graduate teaching assistants, and graduate assistants for different aspects of that role. Good question, though. And yes, I wholeheartedly agree that we need to somehow work out insurance for our full-time graduate students, for sure.
GRA, GTA, GA, that's not quite right. Here's graduate student health insurance, dated August 21st, 2015. That doesn't seem very good. I don't know. I thought maybe I could find something real quick for you. Maybe if I just typed in student health insurance. Is there another question in the chat?
We do have another question. How does the 64 hours in the student teaching work if the elementary residency is approved and we are teaching full time?
Oh, you don't have to worry about the 64 hours because you're in class for whatever it would be, 6 hours a day approximately for 30 some hours a week. So don't that's obviously different.
Another question. with the 64 hours and the student teaching, we are able to submit a mentor for this if we have found one, if we are out of state, correct?
You can submit a first choice school and even, the name of somebody, but K-State works out the arrangements with the school of your choice. And we have to come to, they have to sign an MOU with us, which is no big deal. We do it all the time. They do it all the time. Memorandum of understanding. And so we do those. You'll say, my first choice is Blue Valley, or my first choice is Hutch, or, my first choice is Hiawatha, or whatever. And we're able to give students their first choice like 95% of the time. The only time that we don't, by the way, is when the school has like too many, they're filled up with student teachers, or, they just don't want to take a K-State student for whatever reason. But that rarely happens. Why you might ask yourself, what's the upside for schools in doing this? They get to cherry pick you and hire you, right? I mean, they get to, if you're really good, they'll just keep you there. And so that's the upside, professional upside for them. There's really not a huge upside for your cooperating teacher, however, and they do it out of the goodness of their heart for the most part. And to add back to the profession or whatever, we pay them, but it's minuscule, it's nothing. So, yeah, anyway, be nice to your cooperating teachers when that comes. Jeff, you're wanting to talk, and if you unmute yourself, we can hear.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is one of my questions. So as I said, I'm in my third semester of having 5 to 6 classes, pretty full load, and I'm in class, all day, full time. So am I going to be able to leverage that? Do you foresee any problems with me? I don't want to disrupt my classes. Well, this won't happen this spring. This would be an issue for next fall. And the assistant principal for curriculum and instruction and all the English department, they're like, we got to hold on to this guy and everything. So will the whole student teaching requirement, is this going to be able to dovetail with my class load? I mean, is this going to,
Well, it depends on what you mean by that. We try to accommodate you as adult learners as best we can, and accommodate the needs of the schools as best we can. And if Blue Valley were to hire you as a part of the residency program, then of course, yeah. I mean, that's and if you wanted to continue to be a substitute in Blue Valley while you did your practicum, that's fine too. However, you can't be a full-time sub and do your 64 hours at the same time. You can't kill 2 birds with 1 stone like that. It's against state law.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't be a full-time sub and do the 64 hours.
Correct.
But I'm not sure I understand that. I'm sure I don't understand that. So
let me try to explain. There's a state law that says you can't be a student teacher or a practicum teacher and be paid as a substitute teacher at the same time.
Oh, so it's a status?
It's a status thing. So because schools took advantage of student teachers. So especially, you can see how this would work, right? You have 4 student teachers in your building and you've got 3 teachers sick on a particular day, and you're having a hard time finding subs. And so you just take the student teacher and throw them in a classroom. See? So the state law is designed to protect student teachers from being abused in that way. But if the school wants to hire you, everyone wins. Okay. And, but you still would need a cooperating teacher, even if you were there at the school full time.
That won't be
And
a problem. There's several of the teachers in the English department. Will
and
be
they
like,
don't, and they don't necessarily need to be right there in your classroom. You know what I mean?
no,
We just have to have somebody that we can call
right,
if something were to break down.
right. I know several of the
Yeah,
teachers in the department.
it won't be a problem, Jeff.
Yeah.
You know that, and you can even, we even have people who serve as full-time teachers that the district doesn't call substitutes,
Mhm.
that participate in our programs as well. So
So next fall, wait a minute, so if we start this summer, when will the student teaching come up? Will that be the student teaching requirement? Will that be next fall or next spring?
that will be next spring.
Next spring. So will I be able to take on a full load of classes next spring, or will that be, will
You
that
mean
come
as a substitute?
yeah, so, well, as a student teacher,
As a student teacher, right. Now, if Blue Valley wants to pay you while you're doing that, that's between you and Blue Valley.
well,
I'm just telling you that there's a state law that says you can't hire or you can't be a full-time or a substitute teacher if you're doing student teaching or practice.
okay, so I'm gonna have to replace my e-sub license with a restricted license.
And you need to do that by getting a job.
Okay, so, right, so, and the district is
And
gonna,
even if you didn't, and you wanted to continue to e-sub, you could, we could probably work that out as long as the district didn't call you officially a substitute.
okay, so the assistant principal's name is Mark Dalton. He's one of the references I put on my app. I mean, he says, just have K-State call me and we'll make it happen. We'll do whatever. I'll do whatever, because
Yeah, and we're the same way. And we want to accommodate students and schools as best we can without breaking any laws.
sure.
So we can make it work.
Okay, cool.
I promise you we can make it work.
All right.
Tom, it looks like we have one more question left, and I know we're running a little past 9.
Yeah, then we'll wrap it up. Last question.
The last question I have is, what is the criteria for having education student loans forgiven in Kansas? Is it just if we commit to teaching in Kansas post-graduation for a certain period of time? I also read somewhere that it may need to be in a school that qualifies as low income. I'm hoping you can explain.
It does. So there's two programs. One is the teacher loan forgiveness program, and the other one is the public service loan forgiveness program. And the teacher service loan forgiveness program is you got to teach in a Title I school for 5 years. It's not the most user-friendly program in the world, but the good news is a Title I school, which is a school that has 35% or more free and reduced lunch students. Most schools in Kansas, most schools around the country are Title I schools. And so you'll likely qualify. And then it's $3,500 a year for 5 years, or $17,500. And it's that way in Kansas. It's that way. It's a federal program, so it's that way in every state. Some states, however, have loan forgiveness programs on their own. So the state government provides some sort of loan forgiveness program. So you'll need to check with your particular state. Kansas does not have any side loan forgiveness programs. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry that it's a little long. I mean, it was our first time. You had to get some questions out there, and hope we were able to answer some of your questions. And again, we're not very far away. We're only a phone call or an email away. Graduate student health enrollment right here, by the way. I just found that. And we'll get to the bottom of that and let you know too about that. But thanks a lot for logging in and hanging in there with us. And again, we'll have other orientation meetings, and you'll have many opportunities to get your questions answered. But hopefully you mostly know how to enroll for classes. I'd like to thank Ms. Knoll for your outstanding work this evening, as normal and usual, and wish you all a great rest of your evening, and hope to see you soon. So talk to you all later. Logging
Bye,
on.
everybody.
Thank you.
See you.